I think this is an extremely interesting situation, one that, as Gordon summarized, I don't think the world really takes America serious. We don't take it seriously because the leadership of this country. I mean, we're going to be, in fact, we're going to talk about this with my next guest, General Jerry Boykin, to be joining us. We're going to talk about our military, and we've got some hearings coming up under Republican leadership in the House, and I think they're going to be probing very deeply on the priorities of our military. And when the world is watching our military practice its pronouns as opposed to its proficiency on the battlefield, that sends a strong signal. Well, joining us now to continue our discussion on Chinese President Xi Jinping's visit to Moscow is our own Lieutenant General Jerry Boykin, retired after 36 and a half years in the United States Army. General, welcome back to the program.
Hey, thank you. I'm glad to be back with you.
General, I want to play a clip from John Kirby in a press conference yesterday where he was talking about this relationship between Russia and China being a marriage of convenience. John Kirby is the White House National Security Council Strategic Communications Director. Play clip number 9, please.
I think you've seen over years now these two countries growing close together. Peter asked a question similar to that yesterday. I wouldn't go so far to call it an alliance. Yesterday I called it a marriage of convenience because that's what I think it is.
Is it a marriage of convenience, or is it more?
Well, I think it is both a marriage of convenience, but also an advantageous situation for the Chinese. If you look at this situation realistically, Putin is a bully. Putin is a bully that went into the Ukraine and is getting kicked around there pretty good, and his people are seeing it, the rest of the world is seeing it, and now what does he have to do? He has to bring in a bigger bully and get him to bail him out. That is not a situation that any world leader should want to be in, and I think that given that the people in Russia are already disgusted with Putin, and the oligarchs are as well, and even his own military, which has performed abysmally, is not happy at all with Putin and what he's doing. They don't see a reason for it. I think that this situation is going to work against Putin.
I'm going to go back to something Gordon Chang made reference to, and it was as their meeting, Xi Jinping and Vladimir Putin, as they were ending their meeting earlier today, the comment was caught that the Chinese president said to the Russian president, "Change is coming that hasn't happened in 100 years, and we are driving this change together." What are we to make of that comment?
Well, I think that Gordon also said, I think that we're going back to a Cold War, and I think that that's exactly what's happening, and we're going to be back into surrogate military operations, and I think that there is no question that the Chinese want to dominate the whole world. They've made no bones about that. It's just like the commitment they've made to take Taiwan. They're serious about it, and they've been very open about it. And I think that they're using using Russia as a way of getting to where they want to be geopolitically. And where they want to be is they want to be the big dog on the block. And we're the only thing, we, America, are the only thing that is preventing them from dominating the world.
So with that in mind, if you can think the way Xi Jinping would be thinking, what are the leverage points? What do they need to do in Ukraine to take advantage of that situation to eclipse America on the world stage?
Well, first of all, if Xi was able to broker a negotiated settlement there, which I think is unlikely, but nonetheless it's possible. If he could broker a settlement there, he would be, the whole world would be in awe of this guy, and it would be exactly where he wants to be. The other thing, though, is that if in fact we pull out, if in fact we stop supplying the Ukraine with weapons and the materiel that they need to be victorious on the battlefield, and she was to come in and start providing more lethal aid to the Russians, I think that would be a game changer as well in terms of Xi's status and position and reputation in the world.
Does Taiwan factor into this equation?
Yeah, Taiwan. I think Taiwan's on hold until this is solved. I think that Xi is still watching this largely because he doesn't really know what he's going to encounter in Taiwan, because Taiwan is a very high-tech nation. Taiwan has some tricky waters off their shores. It makes amphibious landings very problematic. And he also is not sure just how much the U.S. military is going to commit to supporting the Taiwanese if, in fact, they're attacked by mainland China.
So still questions in his mind as to the response of the United States. So as long as they keep him guessing,
Yeah.
that will probably keep him at bay. I want to go back to Russia, General Boykin, for just a moment, because the International Criminal Court has issued arrest warrants for Vladimir Putin for war crimes, as it involved snatching of thousands of children from Ukraine. They've been dismissive of this, saying they don't recognize the court's jurisdiction and say it's legally null and void. You've been a part of going after war criminals and in your time in the Army. How do you see this playing out?
Yeah, first of all, we've got to be very careful, because the last thing we want to do is put ourselves in a position that we're subordinate to this criminal court that we have rejected for many years. In fact, I think the last time we openly rejected it was under George W. Bush. But look, I'd love to see him brought to justice. This guy is an evil, evil man. He's a beast, and he needs to be brought down, and he needs to be held accountable. But that is not as easy as one might think, because he is in Russia. He's protected by the Russian oligarchs at this point, and also by the Russian military and the Russian intel agencies. So getting to him would be a problem. But that doesn't mean that we shouldn't continue on the political front and diplomatic front. We ought to continue calling him exactly what he is, which is a butcher. And keep reminding the world that this man is responsible for atrocious war crimes. Mm-hmm. When you bomb hospitals where women are giving birth to children, or you bomb bread lines where people, men, women, and children are all standing in line to be fed, and you do that repeatedly. The first time you could claim it was an accident, but when you do it repeatedly, you are a war criminal, and that's exactly what he is. And we need to do everything we can to hold him accountable, but not get ourselves in a situation where we've put ourselves under this criminal court that was created a few decades ago.
Understood. General, we're out of time. We'll have to continue our conversation, because Pentagon leaders coming before the new Congress and pushing back on the charges that the military has gone woke. So we're going to want to talk about that in the days ahead. But for now, we're going to have to leave it there. General, always great to see you. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.